it shows the effect that government put on all these sectors can have on the general population.
The very interesting part of this, Jubril, is connect petrol and power together for us. You do the business of energy analysis every day, basically electricity sector. That's what you do at EcoBank, part of the EcoBank research group here in Nigeria and around the world where your organization operates. So, connect in Nigeria, we have this particular problem of petrol and electricity because folks need petrol for their generators. So when you look at our total petrol consumption, estimate 35 million liters per day. Break it down for us.
Well, if you look at currently now, we consume about 35,000 liters of PMS only. That's just PMS. We're now taking into consideration diesel here, or daily, 35 million liters daily in Nigeria. If you look at a significant portion of that actually goes into running domestic generators. And so by estimation, we're putting the figure at about 20 or even higher percentage of current consumption that is being directed towards individuals providing power supply for themselves. And if you look at in terms of diesel supply as well, that is even much more higher because that is where most of the commercial private generators run on diesel. So the figure will probably be closer to about 30 to 40% of all diesel consumption being used for power generation, which then brings us to the fact that if we have sufficient electricity or 24-hour supply in everywhere that is needed, there is a high chance that we could actually significantly reduce our petroleum products consumption in this country. But that's not the case right now. We are still battling with insufficient supply of electricity to different parts of the country. So that's the way I see it. And if we are to look at the issues that is affecting the downstream as it relates to the power sector as well, there is this what everybody has been running away from saying right now, that whether there is scarcity, whether there is a subsidy being paid in terms of petroleum product supply, and this similar thing being obtainable in the power sector. Well, I would like to put it that way. As I said, there are some implicit costs that the government is currently bearing that they have no business bearing if they actually allow the industry to operate the way it should be. Because if you look at Nigerian power sector, there has been a very significant mismatch between the tariff that is being charged by the final distributor, that is the distribution companies, and what is being expected by the generation companies, the GENCOs. So this huge mismatch means that the DISCOs are receiving significantly higher amounts of payables from HENBET on monthly basis, and their collection based on the tariff that they are currently charging, they simply cannot meet up with this expectation. So what we have is a situation where most of the DISCOs are performing at 30%, 25%, even maybe highest at about 50% of the revenue of the bill that has been given to them by HENBET. What then happened that in the long run, when all these debt has accumulated to an unbearable level for the GENCOs, then they throw in their own issue to the federal government. Then we have the CBN stepping in, the federal government stepping in, essentially creating some form of fund, given different names, to actually clear the debt that has been owned by the DISCOs in anticipation that they can get the fund back from the DISCO. But to be sincere with the current structure, that is really not going to happen. So how do we classify this fund as? Is it subsidy? Is it implicit cost? Whatever you decide to call it, is still government being making payment for what the general population should be.
Jubril, let's fast track this. Of course, this conversation will continue today, tomorrow, the day after, and I'm sure next year we'll still be chewing this over. You saw earlier, and I'm sure you're in the industry neck deep than I do, in terms of the new projects that the Fasholas Ministry of Power says will come on stream in 2018. On Twitter, the ministry just listed about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 new projects, both fossil fuel and renewable, that will be coming on stream next year. Are you encouraged that if we resolve this, we'll be able to resolve part of our petrol consumption?
Well, am I encouraged that these projects are coming on stream, or they are projected to come on stream when they are? Yes, I am. But if you look at it, look at, for instance, when they tweeted about the highest generation being reached, the 5,200 megawatts. That's just a point data. On the same day, you pick the data for the same day as provided by the electricity system operators in the country. The highest generation that particular day was 5,200 megawatts. But what was the lowest generation that particular day? It was just above 3,000 megawatts. So imagine the difference between in a single day in generation in this country, almost 2,000 megawatts of between the highest and the lowest point, which should not be. Such level of fluctuation should not be. So it's very easy to pick up the highest point and simply say we've achieved this. When in reality, we look through it, the stability is not there. What should be of priority should not just be the focus on generation. Should not just be the focus on generation. We should look at the entire industry, the entire value chain, the transmission networks. The transmission networks, and how are they able to cope with the new generation that are coming on stream? We only have 1 unit of Azura being synchronized into the system now at about 153 megawatts. We still have about 2 more of about 306 megawatts that are supposed to come on stream before the end of the first quarter of 2018. How is the TCN able to cope with this so that we don't continue to have this fluctuation? If we have 5,200 megawatts and we have sustained level of 5,200 megawatts throughout a week or even for a prolonged period, these significant changes will be noticed by everybody that use electricity in this country. And that then translates to lower consumption of petroleum products. So that's the way I see it. It's very easy to pick data. We can pick data, we can just pick a data point and say this is the highest level of generation. On that particular day, the lowest level of generation was about 3,400 megawatts.
Okay. Jubril, we got that. We understand that. Thank you so much for your time trying to understand the numbers, not enough what you just see on the tweet. Pick the up number and give us the lower number. Thank you very much, Jubril Karim, Energy Research Analyst at EcoBank, Nigeria. So we're keeping those numbers, and we're keeping some of them. Something interesting is coming through. It's called the Nigeria Misery Index. We have the latest report. How worse do you feel and I across the country? The Misery Index is out, and our lives are a little bit more, well, miserable than it used to be. I choose that word very carefully. Let's see the numbers after the break. Hot and fresh.